Chicago Bulls and the Utah Jazz. It's 1-0 in the series so far to Utah, but they're down by 4 points at the end of the first half, second game in Salt Lake City. John Amici alongside me, the NBA man from the Cleveland Cavaliers once before. And John, I know that you've obviously you're getting a smell of what's going on there. You know about all this stuff, and you've got a question for Ian and Mike down on the floor.
Certainly, Ian. I was wondering, I've seen that Utah is running basically the sets they want to get, but they're not getting the shots they want. So in the second half, do you think that they're going to stick with their regular season pattern, or are they going to try something new to try and get themselves into some kind of flow?
Well, in comparing coaches, John, I think Jerry Sloan is probably the better coach in making adjustments in game. Phil Jackson is one to take a look at game film and then make adjustments game to game. So I think you might see a change a bit in the second half from Jerry Sloan's team offensively. Mike, your thoughts?
Well, two things. I think, number one, they have to get the Bulls to miss a little bit more and get in transition. They didn't do much with the transition as far as scoring off layups and dunks with a 3-on-1, 3-on-2 fast break style. Then I think they'll go to their screen and roll a little bit more. They didn't use that much. That's their bread and butter. They're not going to change that. They're going to stay with that, maybe use it a little bit more.
Well, we've got 24 minutes of basketball remaining. Game 2 of the 1998 NBA Finals live on Channel 4. Great to be with you here at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. Ian Eagle, Mike O'Koren, Mark Webster, John Amici along for the ride back of the studio. The Bulls lead the Jazz 50-46. Utah hoping to get out of town with a 2-0 series lead. Only 2 teams have ever come back down 2-0 in the NBA championship. The 69 Celtics and the Portland Trail Blazers in 1977. We're underway, third quarter action. Bulls open up with the basketball. Kukoc guarded by Foster. Foster's been very quiet in this series thus far.
Hasn't done anything.
Michael Jordan, double clutch for the bucket.
See, not many players in the league, or in the world for that matter, can make a bucket like that. Hang in the air, double pump, knock it home.
And Jordan has 16. Bulls lead by 6. Hornacek on the floor playing with 3 personal fouls. Hornacek getting the step on Jordan, but he couldn't hit the layup. Knocked out of bounds by Utah.
And Hornacek looked to get a foul there, too, against Jordan, but nothing called, and that took his concentration away from making that layup.
First minute of action in the second half. Jordan over Hornacek, short, and Foster with a board.
This is where Utah, on a missed shot, they need to get up the floor and get an open pass, but not when Luke Longley will hold somebody like he did on Malone. But Chicago did a great job of getting back defensively.
That is number 4 on Luke Longley, a costly personal foul with 10:56 to play in the third and no substitution made.
I'm not so sure the bench of Chicago knows right now. You'll see Rodman in a hurry.
Go right into Malone again if you're Utah, but Hornacek will go to the outside.
Jeff Hornacek didn't waste any time, came right around the screen, Ian, top of the key area, and drains it.
52-48, Bulls. Pippen fending off Russell, he lost the basketball, last touch, Jazz. And you're right, Chicago making no attempt to get Luke Longley out of the lineup. He's playing with 4 personal fouls.
And I would think that they'll go right to Malone, Utah, to try to get a 5th on him.
Kukoc, guarded by Foster. Kukoc. Tony Kukoc, in and out, rebounded by Malone.
Longley almost reached over and got a foul there on that rebound attempt.
And now Dennis Rodman has popped off the bench. And a foul.
Longley got his 5th, Ian.
Luke Longley tossing Malone down to the floor. And that is just not a bright play.
And I'll tell you what, Karl Malone helped it out. Luke Longley saying he flopped. What I mean by that is he went down without any much contact. Let's watch. There's a little bump, but look at it. He could knock Karl Malone down like that. He bought the referee with that flop. Karl Malone with a smart play.
But if you're Luke Longley, you can't even give the officials any opportunity. Avoid the contact if possible.
Because you know you're coming out, too, next dead ball.
Rodman was waiting to check in. So now Longley goes to the bench with 5 personals and a lot of time left. Stockton nails it.
As John Amici said before, what will Utah do to get going offensively? I'll tell you what they're doing. They're making crisp screens to free up people.
And the Bulls lead it down to 2. Jordan is fouled, taking it to the basket. And Danny Crawford made the call.
See, Jordan turned the corner. and then you draw contact, you get to the free throw line.
So Michael Jordan will go to the line because Karl Malone fouled him. That is the second on the mailman.
Yeah, he ripped his arm right down, and that's what Jordan gets the line because he's in the act of shooting, shoots too.
Mike, in past years, we know that Michael Jordan could will his team to victory. Is he still capable of doing that?
I think he is, Ian. I don't know if he's capable of willing a team to 4 victories if he has to do it himself, but I'll tell you what, his teammates have helped him tonight. He's a little short, but gets a quiet roll on the rim there. But he can will himself to get a victory here because he knows how important it is to be 1-1 as opposed to being 0-2.
Well, he has 18 points to lead all scores. High man for Utah, Karl Malone with 12. Bulls lead by 4. Malone nearly had it knocked away by Pippen. Foster, well short. A long two-pointer. Rodman the outlet for Jordan. Surveying the scene, the pull-up stroke. Rimming out, Foster the board.
But again, after the miss, Chicago gets back, so there's no fast break opportunity.
And a turnover. Stockton trying to thread the needle, and Pippen will slow it down for the Bulls. That is the 9th turnover for the Jazz, and Chicago has scored 14 points off of those Utah mistakes. And a whistle stops play.
Yeah, John Stockton reached in on Harper. Finally, Harper uses that size against John Stockton to get to the free throw line.
Greg Ostertag in. Greg Foster exits. Foster, 11 minutes of action, no points. And in game 1, Foster only 2 points on 1 of 5 shooting.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at that. I thought his hustle and that type of play would make some things happen, but he hasn't really done much at all.
Neither has Ron Harper. 0 of 2 from the field, no points here tonight. Harper in game 1 scored only 4 and was not on the floor in overtime to guard John Stockton. Steve Kerr was.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise.
Harper splits a pair of free throws, and the Bulls lead by 5. This is third quarter action. Game 2 of the 1998 NBA Finals. Bringing it to you live on Channel 4. Russell, down low, Malone, off the double team, ball knocked away. Ostertag gets it. Hornacek, 7 to shoot. Russell is open. Three-pointer is blocked by Kukoc, but Ostertag is there. He couldn't hit the layup. And the Bulls will have it.
Yeah, he needs to put that down, Greg Ostertag. Open, 7-footer, has an easy one, has to take advantage.
That is his first miss from the field tonight. He's now 3 of 4, 7 points. Rodman on the outside. Kukoc, he's quicker than Malone. Let's see if he takes him off the dribble. Kukoc turning the corner. Didn't get the layup, but a foul.
It's way before. It'll be a side out. Karl Malone with a touch foul. Karl Malone having some problems with Kukoc out on the perimeter. Maybe in that first half. Remember, he hit a long 3.
And that is number 3 on Malone. Kukoc, that running one-hander, he went around Malone like he was standing still.
And because of the third foul on Malone, you can't take him out with only 3. So they bring back Foster to guard Kukoc. Malone moves over to guard Rodman. Ostertag's the liability. He goes out.
Bulls trying to add to a 5-point lead. The runner. Short by Kukoc, but look who's there. Michael Jordan.
He knew the shot was coming, planted himself inside. And the Bulls making a nice run here to get up 7.
20 points for Jordan, and the Bulls match their largest lead. Hornacek, the pump fake. Spin move to the rim. That's pretty.
Well, he made Kukoc look real slow with a move like that.
So Kukoc is quicker than Malone. Hornacek may be quicker than Kukoc, though. 57 to 52. Dennis Rodman, talk about not having any impact. Just 1 rebound, no points. In 13 minutes of action, Harper the discard. As he got stuck into the floor, Ron Harper took advantage. Wide open shot.
Yeah, Danny Crawford not looking at any type of situation to make a foul call there on Harper.
3 points for Harper. Stockton nearly lost the ball. Malone off a double team, splits defenders and a foul.
And he'll come up and go to the line in the act of shooting. Karl Malone using that big body inside.
Here's the play from before. Michael Jordan. Great position on that rebound.
He's so aggressive, Ian. Here's the play by Harper inside. Watch Stockton go down. Tell you what, I don't know if that's a flop. You trip your shoulder like that, normally you get the foul called.
Malone at the line. He's 2 of 3 so far tonight. He has been much better from the field, 5 of 12, compared to the 9 of 25 that we saw Malone put up in game 1.
Very important here, Ian. The Chicago Bulls are staying away from any type of 6-0, 8-0 type runs, dunks or long-range threes. These Bulls doing a great job of keeping the crowd out of it in that case.
Rodman controlling the rebound off the Malone miss. Coming up on 7 minutes left in the third. Bulls lead by 6. Kukoc looks. Jordan trying to establish position. Instead, it's Pippen. 6 to shoot. Pippen trying to get it to Jordan. Shot clock is winding down. Jordan, great move, but he couldn't get it to drop. Break opportunity for the Jazz. Hornacek leads it. Cross court intercepted. Rodman, great decision to take it down the floor. Michael Jordan, the two-handed stunt.
I'll tell you what, that was a tremendous play by Dennis Rodman. He stole the ball. I can't even say he stole the ball, Ian. It was thrown right to him, but without any hesitation, he knew Jordan was back down there.
And at the 6:22 mark of the third, the Bulls have their largest lead, 8. Malone, no good. And a loose ball foul. Foster came over the back. A timeout. 6:14 to play in the third. The Bulls trying to take control. Hornacek, the giveaway. Rodman finds Jordan. Chicago 61, Utah 53. We're back to the Salt Lake City Delta Center in a moment.
Oh, Alan McCoist, that must be one of your finest achievements. A 0% finance offer from Vauxhall.
Yeah, God, fantastic.
Talk us through the deal, will you? Here.
Well, I nipped into the showroom, paid the deposit, and went up down the right in a brand new car. Brilliant, eh?
And the small print on the screen?
It's all part of the modern advertisement.
So you'll continue paying 0%, yeah?
Yeah, can I go now?
Any chance of a lift home?
Okay, cheers.
No?
Bye now.
Oh, well, I'll take the bus then.
0% finance from Vauxhall. Bye.
Chat and date. Call friends and swap telephone numbers 0894 79 79 79.
Good morning, pups. Andrex is so much thicker than ordinary toilet roll, and because it's thicker, you need less. Good luck, Puppy Patrol. Your mission is to ensure that every home has Andrex toilet tissue. Andrex, thicker, so you need less.
We're into the second half, 61-53, the Bulls lead. And John Amici, you'd have thought that Utah would have wanted to come out and be strong and be powerful and really make an impression straight away, not been able to do it.
Certainly not. Again, it's surprising to see a team that's played consistently so well throughout the season, knows each other, are renowned for their team basketball, that no one has been able to step up and really establish anything.
We can see a great example in Michael Jordan here under the hoop. Now, often you'll see big Utah men in there and not letting this kind of thing happen.
Well, these kind of plays are really spirit-destroying, because anytime you get a second shot, that really disrupts your flow on defense. You've done a good job to force a miss, and then you get an easy two. It disturbs your team flow.
And also, what they often get as well is is offensive fouls with John Stockton goes to ground quite often and didn't get one there. So all the little things are lining up against Utah at the moment.
Yeah, it's amazing how that happens when you're not playing well as a team. As well as that, you oftentimes don't get the calls, and then the shots start going in and out. It starts a cascade effect oftentimes.
Well, it's still close in terms of points, so it's tight stuff indeed. We can go back to the game now. Ian and Mike.
It is close, gentlemen. Michael Jordan, though, tried to give Chicago a double-figure lead. He could not convert from the field. And Utah trying to muster up something here in the third to quell the Chicago run. This could be it. Malone taking it to Rodman and a foul.
I like what Malone did there, Ian. Got it in low and just directly to the rim. Rodman thought he had all ball. They call a foul on him, so Karl Malone to shoot free throws. Adam Keefe seeing his first action of the series.
Keefe, who has started for this Utah Jazz team, but throughout the playoffs, the matchups didn't really seem to fit. So Keefe found himself most often on the bench.
And they use Brian Russell as a momentum guy, a guy to come in off the bench, hit some shots. Keefe started the first 7 games of the playoffs, and then Russell took over from there.
Malone's numbers. Just 2 points thus far in the second half. 5:42 to play in the third. Second attempt for Malone. 15 points. He is the only Jazz player in double figures. Meanwhile, Chicago has 3. Jordan, Pippen, and Kukoc. The lead is 6. Pippen watched by Russell. Jordan got away from Hornacek. Could not get the layup. Stopped it. Comes the other way. Pippen goes to the floor. No call. Russell a 3. Book it.
Boy, what a big turnaround there, Ian. Jordan, of all people, misses a 3. And then a deuce inside, and Russell hits the 3, a 5-point turnaround.
A timeout. 5:15 left in the third.
And we talked a lot about 4-point turnovers in games, misses at one end and 2s at the other. There was a 5, John?
That's a big turnaround. We talked earlier about Utah having those same mistakes, missing some layups and missing some easy jumpers, and this time we just see Michael Jordan, of all people, miss an easy layup, and then you come down the other end and you get punished with a 3.
Yeah, that's got to hurt. That's got to hurt. Now, Michael Jordan, he won MVP in the finals last year, as you may have heard at the start of our programme. But you've got your own chance to influence an MVP via Channel 4's very own webpage. We've been with you all season long covering the NBA here on Channel 4. And look, there you go. You get to vote for your own MVP. We're looking for votes to be taking place on the final series. We want the finals of the MVP. And this is what you log on to, www.channel4.com. That's www.channel4.com. I thought I'd repeat it because I said it well the first time. Well done, me. And tell me, John, game and a half in. I mean, it might be a bit early, but, you know, who's the candidates if people are looking for some names?
Well, it's certainly a bit early right now, but obviously for Chicago, it's Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. For Utah, it's Karl Malone and John Stockton. I think if all these superstars were playing their best basketball, then it really would be a challenge to pick between them. But at the moment, there's only one player that's really stepped up to any great level, and that's Michael Jordan.
Because that was an intriguing argument last year on the NBA's own MVP in the finals, is that Jordan got it, and Karl Malone, you know, apparently, you know, that everyone was saying that perhaps it should have been him, but, you know, if Jordan leads you to a title, surely he's kind of asking for that MVP.
It's very difficult to give an MVP award to a losing side. However you cut it, it's very difficult. Malone did play very well, but though some people said he missed some crucial shots down the end, and certainly there were some foul shots that he missed that could have been decisive.
Now, we've seen, we mentioned there obviously that 5-point play there, you know, the missed 2 and the Russell 3. They've got within 3 again. Now, are we on the verge of a crucial moment in this game?
I think it's not yet crunch time in this game,
Sure.
but certainly you can see that Coach Sloan is trying to find some combination, somebody to give some spark. We've just seen a player put on the court now that hasn't been seen time in the last 2 series.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's obvious that we're trying to find somebody that can provide some spark on the floor.
It's often tempting to think of a basketball game like a boxing match, is that, you know, you're going to win it on points at the end because you were good in the early rounds, but it doesn't work that way, does it? You know, it doesn't matter if Chicago play well for 3 quarters and a lot more, they could still lose it at the end, and they lose it on them points.
Again, Chicago in the first game played terrific basketball for probably 3 quarters, and then in the overtime, it wasn't even Utah that played well, but John Stockton, more like, that carried the whole team.
Now, we're looking for that crunch moment. Obviously, we've got guys out there. Do you think Chicago perhaps are slightly more equipped than they were for game 1 for crunch time?
Certainly, because last time at crunch time, it was Michael Jordan on his own carrying the whole team. This time, we've already seen that Scottie Pippen has stepped up early, and Tony Kukoc is ready to play. Even Scott Burrell has chipped in with a big 3, so they have a lot more weapons going this game.
OK, and we can get back to that full artillery from both teams now. Let's go back to Ian and Mike.
The steal by Stockton. He got it to Keefe, but he could not convert. 3-pointer is good. Jeff Hornacek drills it.
How do you get that, Ian? Keefe misses a layup, but Malone did not take anything for granted, made the rebound, and Hornacek ties it, so you don't get 2, you wind up getting 3.
61-61. Harper, short. Tussle for the loose ball, and Stockton comes out of the pack. Stockton leading the break, driving it to the rim. Got it!
Well, I thought Phil Jackson might call another timeout, but he doesn't. The crowd now is back.
Fans on their feet. A 10-0 Utah run. And another turnover for the Bulls.
Absolutely, Ian. It was 61-53. It's 63-61. Utah has scored the last 10 of this game.
Coming up on 4 minutes to play in the third. And a whistle away from the ball as Hornacek went down. Dennis Rodman made contact.
See, that's part of the screens. See, Stockton gets the steal right there from Kerr. But watch this, he's not done. He looks up the floor, makes the beautiful pass to Keith, and he missed that layup. But then it returns to this. Hornacek with an open three, ties the game with that shot. Now Hornacek goes to the line. Chicago's over the limit with 5 team fouls, so Hornacek goes to the line. Boy, that was a nice move by Stockton, reminiscent of Game 1 when he made the shot earlier.
Jeff Hornacek hitting the free throw, and Jordan did not get much of a breather.
Boy, very uncharacteristic for the Chicago Bulls to fall apart like that. Let a team, if this free throw goes down, have 12 straight points. They're going to wave it off, Ian, because Adam Keefe came into the lane before the shot went up. Not a smart play by Adam Keefe.
Well,
he's a 90-plus shooter. Let him shoot it.
Keefe with a couple of errors, missing that layup that you have to hit. He was all alone for a driving layup, and now stepping into the lane.
It takes a point away from Utah.
64-61 Jazz. Rodman, turnaround, over Malone.
Brian Russell's going to get an off-the-ball foul called. Similar to what Rodman did to Hornacek, Brian Russell did it to Steve Kerr. So Steve Kerr gets 2 free throws. Watch Adam Keefe right there. He's in the lane before the ball was left. The hands of Hornacek. That's a good call by the official. Not a smart play by that man right there.
And Steve Kerr is now at the free throw line. He's shooting 78% from the line during the postseason as he hits the first. 4 points for Kerr.
And I'll tell you what, Brian Russell really nailed him too, as Jordan and Jackson talk it over.
Kerr hits both. Utah's lead is 1. Isley now in the game for the Jazz. Malone setting up shop against Rodman. Hornacek gives up the dribble, leaning in for the jump shot.
Well, that's a tough one. Scottie Pippen, an all-defensive player, all over him. The lean-in shot by Hornacek without using the glass.
Jeff Hornacek, 15 points. Utah leads by 3. Jordan taking matters into his own hands, and he doesn't get the roll. Here come the Jazz with Isley. Bulls are back defensively.
They want to go to Malone inside.
Hornacek now guarded by Jordan. Malone over Rodman. And the rebound is snatched by Pippen. Pippen had a notion from 3. Instead, will get it to the hands of Kukoc. Field goal percentage has dropped for the Bulls here in the third. Jordan off the double team. Kukoc fires it up for 3. Rodman, offensive rebound, and a loose ball foul has been called. They'll keep it right here. Chicago retains possession.
It's going to be on Malone, Ian, pushing off on Rodman. I thought Rodman had excellent position. Malone pushed him, so Rodman will come out and shoot some free throws. Antoine Carr up quick off the bench. Malone will sit the last 2:34 of this quarter.
He picks up his 4th personal foul.
And Rodman, as we all know, not a very good free throw shooter, so he shoots too. So you look around at the Chicago Bulls now. You have Pippen bending over, holding his shorts. You have Jordan bending over, holding his shorts. Fatigue might be a factor. That man never gets tired, Malone.
Rodman shooting 58% from the line during the postseason as he misses the first.
Boy, what character these ball clubs have. They play the game the way it's supposed to be played. Unselfish. They play on both ends of the floor, and man, oh man.
I'll tell you, Rodman looks almost lackadaisical out there right now. Any kids that might be watching him shoot those free throws, he walks away from the line. He doesn't even follow his own shot. Dennis Rodman has to get the intensity level up. Isley, the floater.
He's able to turn the corner because of a tremendous screen by Antoine Carr and hits the floating shot.
68-64. Isley has 4 points. Pippen kicks it out. Jumper. Scott Burrell nails it.
Burrell wide open because Pippen and Jordan bring so much attention to themselves. He's open, hits the shot.
Under 2 minutes left in the third. Jazz lead by 2. Trying to go up 2-0 in the series. Chicago looking for the equalizer. Isley a bad pass. Right to Burrell. And Burrell will get it to Kerr. Jordan. Off the double. Around the perimeter. Pippen gets the screen set by Rodman. Pippen a 3. Way off. Jordan is there for the dunk.
See, it was such a bad shot. It hit the other side on the backboard, and Jordan, knowing that, went right there. Helps his team in so many ways.
24 points for Michael Jordan. And we are tied at 68. A minute 14 to play in the third. Isley. He faked out Kerr.
And Steve Kerr cannot stay with him, especially when Antoine Carr might set a screen. Steve Kerr having his problem.
Howard Isley, tremendous crossover dribble. And the Jazz go back in front by 2. Kerr, tough shot. Rodman, offensive rebound. Burrell lines it up a 3. Rodman trying to track it down, goes into the Utah bench and saves it.
Too many opportunities.
Jordan is open for 2. No good. And Russell goes to the corner to track it down. And the Bulls will get it back.
Boy, Jerry Sloan beside himself. What they're saying is that Russell just went out of bounds. What Jerry Sloan is mad about, he feels his player was forced out. That should have been a foul on the Chicago Bulls. It wasn't called. Let's watch. The ball was tipped, and then Russell grabbed it, went out of bounds. It's a good call by Crawford down low.
The Bulls hold on to it. Or do they?
It's a tripping foul on Russell. Pippen will get free throws here, Ian. Pippen out of control, and all of a sudden there was a tripping foul on Russell right there. And Joey Crawford, see Sloan talking to official Joe Crawford. Crawford not even looking at him.
That's a complete bailout because the Bulls were just about to turn it over. Pippen at the line. Bulls trail by 1.
Pippen's due to miss, Ian. He has made all his free throws. See, watch, Steve going out of bounds. He tripped over himself. Oh, my goodness.
And Jerry Sloan really riding Joey Crawford. Phil Jackson had something to say. He saunters back to his bench.
See, Phil Jackson will not be outdone. He knows Jerry Sloan is doing a lot of yelling on the sideline, so he wants to make sure that Phil Jackson wants to make sure that he knows that Crawford knows that he's down there also. Joe Crawford, a fine official, missed that one.
Scottie Pippen, another free throw. Crawford, a veteran NBA official, in my opinion, maybe the best in the league. 70 apiece, 30 seconds left in the third. Another tight one here at the Delta Center. Isley, watched by Pippen.
Back to the screen and roll. Antoine Carr sets a screen and rolls.
Carr, pump fake, got Wennington in the air. Tried to drop it inside. Isley has to put it up. Got it! A 3!
Adam Keefe did a nice thing there, Ian. He couldn't control it, so he tipped it out to Isley.
Final seconds of the third. Pippen on a spin. And a foul. Offensive foul. Scottie Pippen.
He's out of control, Ian. That's a good call. He put his left arm out, knocked the defense over. Phil Jackson doesn't know what he's doing. He's not complaining at all.
2.2 seconds left in the third. Long pass. Isley slips. Gets it to Russell at the buzzer. A 3. Oh! Nearly got it to drop. Fast and furious in that third quarter. It looked like the Bulls had control. Then Utah took control. 73-70. The Jazz lead it after 3. The fourth quarter will be coming up when we come back. This is the NBA on Channel 4. Make sure you stay with us.
The papers say that I, Serge Lapelle, leader of avant-garde style, now of competition, the Citroën Summer Exclusive Collection, taking up my nose with their cool new Xantia Sensation Limited Edition and its 16-valve engine, air conditioning, CD auto changer, Uncle Thomas, Cobblies and all, 13995 smackers they ask. You are seduced? Silly British peoples, I do this for your own good.
Xantia Sensation 13995.
Послушай, то надо стоять, Симон.
McManaman. No. Bravo. Owen.
Youth. Carlsberg, official England team supporter.
Here's the NBA Finals live. Game 2 in Salt Lake City. Best of 7 and 1-0 up the Utah Jazz so far, and now 3 points ahead at the end of what do you reckon, John? Was that the best quarter we've seen so far? That was tremendous stuff.
Certainly, it was a great quarter of basketball. Utah finally made the kind of run that they need to inspire some confidence in them, and certainly in the Delta Center crowd.
Now, we reached a stage which we also saw in the previous game as well. It's that classic kind of third to fourth quarter moment where Michael Jordan's meant to be getting his rest. Didn't quite get the time to crash out on that bench that he would have wanted.
No, it's a big difference from the first game. In the first game, Michael Jordan went out. I think he had 2 or 3 minutes rest, and during that time, the reserves for Chicago really held the fort. This game, when Michael Jordan went out, it was like there was an immediate drop-off in the performance of the Chicago Bulls, and Utah managed to put a huge run together.
Yeah, 10 points there. I don't think we've seen that at all so far. I mean, that's as big as it's got, and it was. I mean, I suppose one would say that Chicago did well to kind of like temper that back a bit there.
Yeah, they had to bring Michael Jordan back on for damage control, but the moment he came on, they did settle down. But having said that, Isley hit a big 3 at the end there.
That's right. Of course, that's what we saw there. We saw, and you mentioned while we're sitting there watching it as well, that interestingly enough, you suddenly start seeing calls going your own way when you're on top again. I mean, we saw, I think, Hornacek hit the deck, and a call that he might not have got in that first half.
Yeah, it's amazing that when a team plays with energy and enthusiasm, the referees are far more likely to give you a call. And we saw then that the flops that have been happening, and there's been a lot of flopping, they suddenly got the calls.
And we're seeing some action here from that particular quarter. And it was during that hot run, and of course it's guys coming from all different areas scoring now. I mean, you know, we saw Howard Isley off the bench. You've got Carr there getting involved as well, and then the ball will go out, and you're going to have Brian Russell scoring as well.
I think you notice, as well as the big plays, there's a lot more hustle on the Utah side.
Yeah, and again, they can now go to their bench with confidence. We now have to see Chicago fall back on Jordan yet again. We're back to the classic Bulls end game, aren't we?
Yeah, I think Ahmad Rashad talked at the beginning of the game about always it's Michael Jordan at the end of the game holding their team together, and it's going to be that stage again, I think.
Okay, still that close, chaps? Let's go back to the floor at Salt Lake City.
Utah outscored Chicago 27-20 in that third to take a 3-point lead. Bill Wennington off the mark. Remember, Luke Longley has been sitting for a long period of time with 5 personal fouls. Utah a little bit out of control here to start play in the fourth.
Yeah, Adam Keefe had a layup, but he bobbled it and went out. This time, Kukoc bails Russell out by hitting him on the body. So that was a foul, first-team foul, and obviously a side out.
First minute of play in the fourth. 73-70, Jazz. Isley remains on the floor. Fading away. Keefe, offensive rebound. And he had it blocked from behind. This has been a nightmare effort from Adam Keefe. Pippen, 3-point range, watched by Russell. Pippen for 2. And it's rebounded by Carr. The Bulls do not have Michael Jordan on the floor. He is getting a rest on the bench. So Chicago with Kerr Pippen, Wennington, Kukoc, and Burrell. Anderson gets the pass from Isley over his head, out of bounds.
But Burrell and Anderson really in a tight match down there. Bodies go into body, and the pass was too long.
Utah with Isley, Anderson, Russell, Keefe, and Carr. Pippen gets the screen set by Wennington. Kerr looks. Burrell, a post-up opportunity. Swings it inside, and Pippen is fouled.
Well, backdoor pass, and Pippen goes strong. Keefe gets the foul hard, so Pippen will have to earn it from the stripe. And Utah, uncharacteristically for them, Ian, turning the ball over to start this quarter, missing shots, and luckily their defense has kept the Bulls off the scoring column.
Pippen hitting the free throw. Brian Russell has now gone to the bench, replaced by Chris Morris.
I'll tell you what, Jerry Sloan giving Adam Keefe a lot of rope out there, trying to get some good play from him.
Don't forget, Game 3 will be coming up from the United Center. We'll have it live for you right here on Channel 4. It's a 1-point Utah lead. Just about 2 minutes gone by in the fourth. Carr hands as he stays on the outside. Isley asking for the ball. Shot clock is down to 6. Isley makes his move. Kick out. Anderson a 3. No good. Wennington wrestles the ball away for the rebound. Pippen off for Kukoc, a 3. And it's rebounded by Anderson. Utah looking to run. And Isley will slow it down.
Bulls do a good job getting back off that long shot from Tony Kukoc.
Isley in a matchup with Kerr. He can take him off the dribble if he wants to. They'll clear it out. Carr now comes across. Have yet to see a field goal yet this half, this quarter. Isley missing and getting it back. And the Jazz up by 1, holding on to the ball.
Too much dribbling by Isley, not getting into their offense in a hurry.
Carr will back in. Cross court. Keefe, shot clock is down to 3. Extra feed, Isley gets it off a 3. Air ball and a 24-second violation. I'll tell you what, Jerry Sloan has to make some changes.
He will after this timeout, Ian. I think he'll get his veterans back in there.
And we'll come back in a moment.
And so now it's a 1-point game. The Jazz have the lead, and John Amici, we're into the fourth quarter. This is a crucial 2 minutes here that we've just seen, isn't it? Because this is Michael Jordan's rest time, and all the backup players of the Bulls have done their job.
Yeah, it's amazing. We reverted back to Game 1 again, where the Utah team was unable to take advantage of Jordan being on the bench. These are the crucial moments when they need to get the points together. They need to be able to put small runs together. Not 10 points like the initial run, but 2 or 4 points that make a difference at the end of the game.
So you must have been in games similar to this where, like, you know, it was only like 5 minutes ago when everyone had a hot hand for Utah, you know, 10-point run, and now, a couple of minutes later, they simply can't get anything right at all.
Yeah, you never hope to be on fire for an entire game, but certainly you hope to be able to rotate around a team of 12 or 10 players and be able to find someone who can carry you for just a short period of time.
And obviously, Phil Jackson's had to go to Bill Wennington because Luke Longley's in foul trouble there. And perhaps, you know, a new bit of blood off of the bench because he hasn't been involved at all. The energy level, again, looked up again for Chicago.
Yeah, as similarly, Utah tried it earlier with Adam Keefe, bringing him in to provide a spark. He's failed to be anything impressive at this point, but Bill Wennington has played well in the earlier rounds and was certainly hitting his jump shot earlier on, and he seems to have provided energy for Chicago.
Yeah, we can actually have a quick word with Ian and Mike back on the floor about this one. It feels like from here, gentlemen, that suddenly Chicago found the energy that they had certainly in that first half. Do you get a sense of that as well?
Well, yeah, this is crunch time, gentlemen, and you know when it's crunch time that Jordan and the rest of his teammates will perk up a bit. You can't play with Michael Jordan unless you play with that kind of intensity, and that's what the Bulls are showing here. Here's the difference, though, in past years. I think Utah is not intimidated by the Chicago Bulls. Maybe some of the opponents that the Bulls have faced in past years in NBA Championship Series were a bit in awe of Michael Jordan and his presence.
I think you're right, Ian, and lesser teams would have melted when they got down by 8 points, but the Utah Jazz, they came right back and took a lead. But they've survived here in the fourth quarter, talking about the Bulls now. With Jordan on the bench, it was 73-70 to start the quarter. It's 73-72, so they gained 2 points with him on the bench.
Ian, I think that previously, in previous years, there's been a sense that Chicago is an invincible team. And now, this year, whether it be with age or with Jordan perhaps not being quite the player he used to be, there's a sense that they can be beaten even in the end.
Hey, John, you're right. You hit it on the head, because I think the one word we continue to hear here in Salt Lake City, vulnerability. The fact that the Bulls have some chinks in the armor, and if you can take advantage of those, then you might find yourselves as NBA champions.
Well, you can. I mean, the Jazz didn't play well in the first game, but they came back and won that game. Now, they've missed their first 5 shots here in the quarter, but they still lead by 1.
Karl Malone, 15 points. He has shot the ball better, but still not the mailman that we're used to. He came in averaging 26.5 points in the postseason. 73-72. Utah with the lead despite not connecting on a field goal here in the fourth. Kukoc, 8 to shoot. Kerr seeing extended action. Jordan. 2 to shoot. Jordan can't get it to drop. Kukoc getting the rebound. And a reset. Jerry Sloan beside himself. Kerr can't hit the 3. And Anderson has the board.
Well, that was a bad no call. Kukoc did knock Stockton down to get it, but the Bulls do not lose. I should say the Jazz do not lose the lead.
Stockton with Kerr. Stockton out there with Isley, Malone, Morris, and Anderson. Malone getting position and a foul. Michael Jordan will pick it up.
I'll tell you what, Isley made a great screen there. Watch it, boom, right there. Could have been called for a foul. That left it wide open for him to go down to Lane Malone, and Jordan did reach in and foul.
But still, the Utah Jazz looking for their first field goal in the fourth quarter. Yet they maintain a lead. Malone at the line. He has a double-double. Double figures in points, double figures in rebounds. 16 offensive, 10 boards. And Malone. First round, second round, conference finals. You know that Malone normally will come up big when the Jazz need it.
And he needs to make free throws, because as this game wears down with that body he has, he'll draw some fouls.
And he misses on the second. Rodman claims the board. Jazz lead by 2, 8 minutes left in the fourth. This is game 2 of the 1998 NBA Finals. Jazz leading 1-0. Ian Eagle, Mike O'Koren with you from the Delta Center here on Channel 4. Rodman looks. Rodman, a jumper. Dennis Rodman knocks it down. Oh, my.
Well, Karl Malone just fell back, and Rodman, knowing the shot clock winding down a little bit, hits the jumper. Not known for that.
His first field goal of the evening. Jordan in a battle with Isley. And we'll see who this one is against. Michael Jordan will get the foul.
Yeah, off the ball. And there's Rodman. See Malone just step back a little bit. And Rodman just shoots it. And puts it down. You saw 4 in red up there. That was the shot clock.
Dennis Rodman shrugging the shoulders a bit. Tied at 74. That's the second foul on Jordan. And a turnover.
Well, Utah just too stationary down on that side. You play into the Bulls' hands that way.
Kukoc for Jordan. And a foul.
It's going to be on Isley. It's just a matter of the officials think that he was in the act of shooting. No, they point to the side, so it will be a side out. Bill Jackson up at half court, Ian, saying that that Jordan was in the act of shooting.
7 minutes left in the fourth. We are all tied up at 74. This has been a close one. Morris pokes it out of bounds, and the Bulls hold on to it with 15 left on the timer. A full timeout. 6:53 left in the fourth. We're all tied up.
Before building automobiles, Saab built aeroplanes. And when you build aeroplanes, you learn how to handle turbulence.
Послушай, то надо стоять, Симон.
McManaman. No. Rebel. Owen!
Youth. Carlsberg, official England team supporter.
It's the NBA Finals Live. We're approaching those crucial last few minutes in the game here. It is the second game in Salt Lake City. 74 apiece, still tied up. And John Amici, Dennis Rodman, who prepared for this game by, as ever, flying off to Vegas, which is not far at all from Salt Lake City, and having himself a bit of a time. Bowled back in about 6 o'clock this morning, their time. And then comes up, I mean, presumably it was his dice-throwing hand. That stuck this two-pointer up.
Perhaps it was his idea of rehabilitation.
Exactly. But I mean, you know, when he shoots a basket, it's pretty much like throwing a set of dice for him, isn't it? You never know what's going to come up.
It's always a gamble with him. He's certainly not known for his offensive production, and definitely not from jump shots. But to be honest, I think Chicago's relieved to see that he's involved in the game, and somehow that's probably the most demonstrative action we've seen from him so far.
But you can perhaps understand why, because you saw at the end of the shot there, you know, he walks away, he's got his hands open. That injured hand, I mean, you know, all the tape and stuff he's got now, that must be very restricting for you as a player.
It is quite significant. Anytime you have any kind of inhibition on your hands, it's going to cause you some problems. But it's something you have to overcome in a championship series. I can't imagine his particular position, but what he does is rebound and provide intensity to a team, so that's the least he must provide.
Okay, so Dennis, luck has been a lady tonight for him, hasn't it? Here, let's go back to the floor.
Well, let's hope for Rodman's sake he had more luck gambling in Las Vegas than he's had shooting jump shots in the past. Scottie Pippen, it rims in, and Chicago leads by 2.
Bulls doing a great job with offensive rebounds. They missed 2 shots there, but got a third when Pippen hits.
76-74 Chicago, 6:22 left. We are in the 4th. Action away from the ball as Kerr got shoved down by the mailman, Karl Malone. That is number 5.
Yeah, screen and roll on that side. There you see it. Malone dips his shoulder into Kerr, who goes down, and that could loom very, very large, because if he commits another foul, he's out.
Malone, 16 points, 10 rebounds. And this is the time where the Jazz need him. It's called crunch time. Utah still hasn't connected for a field goal in the 4th. Amazing. Jordan making his move. Michael Jordan leaning in. And he gets the roll on the layup. 4 points, Chicago lead.
Able to create off the dribble, hang around, let the defense go down, then he nails it off the glass.
The Jazz really struggling offensively here in the 4th. Malone, no good. Rodman, knocked away from behind by Morris, and that's a tough call.
Well, it looked like Robin knocked that out, but Karl Malone could not get a better shot than that. Free throw line extended, wide open, just didn't nail it, hit back rim.
Karl Malone, 5 of 15 from the field. We have not seen the improvement that we expected to see from game 1 to game 2. The mailman not delivering. Pippen fakes the pass. Now gets it across for Jordan. 4 to shoot. Jordan will back in. Shot clock is winding down. Jordan is fouled and got it to fall. Michael Jordan is going to the free throw line. And the Chicago Bulls can take a 7-point lead.
And there's the play. Jordan with the tongue out. That's not good for the opponent. He fakes left, comes back around with the ball fake, gets Hornacek up, drew the foul, has the strength to put it in the rim, and now the free throw.
Jordan connects. 81-74 Bulls. Jordan with 29. A 9-0 Chicago run. Seemingly in control here in the fourth. Malone playing with 5 fouls. Malone on a kick out. Russell a three-pointer. They need it, and they've got it.
Boy, they did need that iron. That breaks the string of 9, as you mentioned. Russell opened because of the double team on Karl Malone, and he sets his feet and gets it up there.
Russell with 11 points. And the Bulls' lead has shrunk to 4. Chicago spreading the floor. Kerr wants to get it to Jordan. He does. Backing in on Russell. Jordan doesn't get the baseline jumper, but Rodman has the offensive rebound on the reset. Swing pass, Jordan, now guarded by Malone, 2 of the best players in the NBA. Jordan picked up by Russell, penetration, Jordan to the basket, he gets the layup, Michael Jordan. 83-77 Bulls.
And big for the Bulls to answer that long 3 by Russell.
Malone, he was tangled up with Rodman, and it is Dennis Rodman picking up the foul.
Only the 4th team foul. Not in the act of shooting, so just the side out.
But that is number 5 on Rodman. So each power forward will be playing with 5 personal fouls. Ron Harper has come in for Steve Kerr. Bulls lead by 6. Jazz with possession under 4 minutes to play. Hornacek, pump fake, drive, foul. And Hornacek will go to the line.
Well, I thought Hornacek made a great move down the middle. He knew there would be contact, stayed strong with the basketball, and a 90% shooter will come out and shoot 2 from the line.
Foul on Harper. That's his first. Hornacek, 6 of 9 from the field, 15 points. Free throws, both teams shooting fairly well.
And after this free throw, and Luke Longley and Steve Kerr come in the game. Rodman will go out because of the 5 fouls. You don't want him, and he doesn't play offense that well.
As will Harper.
And Ron Harper goes out because Kerr's the better offensive player.
So the strategy that we touched on in game 1, Phil Jackson going offense, defense, when you make changes to try to tailor it for your offense and your defense.
And the thing here is the offense for the Bulls obviously will come through Michael Jordan. He will touch the ball somewhere along this sequence, and you get a guy like Kerr or Pippen or Longley out on the perimeter, they'll hit shots.
17 points for Hornacek. Bulls lead by 4. Pippen lobs for Jordan, 6 to shoot. Jordan strokes it over Russell. Kukoc the back tap for Pippen.
Well, that's the last 4 misses by the Bulls have resulted in offensive rebounds for them. And they just go back out to set their offense up.
Pippen calling out a play. Bulls controlling the offensive glass, 16-7. Jordan makes his move, gives it up. Pippen baseline jump, yes!
Jordan able to come into the paint area, draw the defense, drops it off to Pippen.
And the Bulls lead by 6. 3 minutes to play in the fourth. Malone hands for Stockton, cross-court Russell. They have got some help from the official. Russell trying to take it to Kukoc. Extra feed, Anderson the layup and the foul.
Oh, Brian Russell with a tremendous drive and a drop-off. And a good thing Anderson went strong. He gets the layup and the foul.
The Jazz not going away. And a timeout taken. Let's take another look. Brian Russell.
Yeah, see, Pippen came over, and then Anderson strong with the basketball. Pippen does foul, and it goes in, and he'll get a free throw after this.
85-81 Bulls. 2:46 left in the fourth. Well, what more can you ask for from the first 2 games of the NBA Championship Series? Game 1, the opener here at the Delta Center. Overtime game with Utah winning. And now a tight one here in game 2. Mark and John, I'm sure you're enjoying this one from the studio.
Yes, indeed, gentlemen. And the curious thing is, and we can talk to Ian and Mike about this in a second, is a name that we've not heard a lot of in this second half is John Stockton's. having started so positively.
Yeah, he's a big key for the Utah team. He's passing, obviously. He's been one of the top assist men in the league for years. But also, he's been known to come up with crunch jump shots. We saw that in Game 1, and especially in the overtime. We haven't seen him at all, and I'm a little surprised that he's not really asserted himself.
I don't know, Ian and Mike, I mean, obviously, you're there, and you probably noticed you haven't mentioned the name John Stockton for many minutes. Are you surprised that he's gone so quiet in this game?
Now, that's a good point. Stockton has not really played the role that you would expect him to in the fourth quarter. And not only just scoring, which he did in the last game, especially in that overtime, but setting up the offense, getting the Jazz into a rhythm. Utah does not have that rhythm offensively right now, Mike.
No, they do not. They've had some turnovers that normally they do not have in games. But Stockton has not been doing the job because of the defense by Chicago.
Okay, thanks very much indeed there, guys. And listen, if you're watching the NBA for the first time and you're not totally sure yet, you're wondering what it's all about, have a look at this. It might give you a really good clue. John Amaechi, you don't get much better than this, do you?
This is an incredibly tough shot. Great patience. One of the things that great players have is great patience. They'll allow a defensive player to make a mistake, which lets them get a shot off and one, as we saw there.
And that's the reason he's sitting on the deck there, is because he waited for Jeff Hornacek to come across, give him a bit of a slap across the arm, fell down, and then just decided to make the shot anyway.
He made it look easy, as
Which
usual.
is what everybody should do if they're looking for this as a coaching manual. Just make sure you just do exactly the same thing and tell them Michael sent you. That's all you have to do. Right, we're down to the nitty-gritty here. 3 points in it, John, but it's the three-point Bulls lead. What do you think?
It's a key part of the game. The Bulls are known as great finishers. We said before they do have vulnerabilities. They haven't been finishing as well as they usually do. But Utah really needs to get some major keys coming in from Stockton and Malone. You have to expect to see the two superstars carry them at the end of the game.
Okay, and there's a big free throw, and it's missed. Back to the fellas on the floor.
85-81, Bulls. 2:38 left. Here in Salt Lake City, this is game 2. Utah with a 1-0 lead. Jordan matched up with Russell. Shot clock at 6. Jordan driving in. Couldn't get the layup to go as Malone saves it. Jazz breakout. Stockton for Anderson. No good. Fight for it. Russell up high. Anderson. Reverse layup and a foul.
Hustle plays by Utah to get it back. The foul inside. If it's Longley Iron, he's out. He'll have 6 fouls. Russell missed Jeff Hornacek open from the three-point line. What he did was he got it back inside to Shandon Anderson right there, and there's Longley with the body fouls, and he has to go out with the 6.
So Luke Longley is done for the night. Brian Russell, the no-look feed, and the Bulls didn't expect it. Shandon Anderson is going to the free throw line. Dennis Rodman has come in for Longley, just 4 points for Big Luke, 2 rebounds.
5 fouls on Rodman, so if he fouls again, he goes out.
Anderson hitting on the first. It's a 3-point game. Free throw percentage. You look at that all-important fourth quarter because that's a different game entirely. You can shoot well and shoot consistent, but in that fourth, that's what it counts.
Especially in the finals. Mounts even more.
Anderson getting the roll on the second attempt, and we've got a 2-point game. Just over 2 minutes left. Pippen finding an opening. And a whistle stops play.
It's the 4th team foul on the pass out, so just a side out for Chicago.
Jeff Hornacek.
Probably should have threw that up there. I bet with all the noise here at the Delta Center, he didn't hear a whistle.
Number 5 on Hornacek. So a new shot clock for the Bulls. Jordan. Little space between him and Russell. Jordan puts his head down. It's fading away, and it's rebounded by Hornacek. Stockton leading the break. Stockton to the outside. Hornacek for the lead. Yes! A 3-pointer! Timeout, Chicago. Jeff Hornacek drilling the long-range jumper. And Utah with a 1-point lead. 1:46 to play in the fourth.
Ian, what happened there is Jordan went to the hoop. He felt he got fouled, fell to the floor. He was late getting back on defense. Stockton always looking around to see where his teammates are. Found Hornacek wide open because of Jordan being tardy on defensive transition, and Hornacek makes them pay.
There are other teams, most other teams, that in these kinds of situations would back down to the Chicago Bulls, trailing late in the game. But not this Utah team. They smell championship. Jeff Hornacek hitting a three, and a clutch one at that.
Pippen tried to get over to help, but it was just too late. Hornacek is in a groove after that poor performance in game one.
Still a lot of time left. 1:46 showing on the clock in the fourth. These fans have been on their feet basically the entire fourth quarter. The Bulls have not lost 5 straight road games since May of 1990. You're talking about more than 8 years ago. '85 Jazz. Chicago will have possession following the timeout.
I'll tell you what's going to happen in this possession, Ian. Michael Jordan will get the ball, and what he will do, he will not settle. Here's Stockton. Let's go back to the play. See, Stockton draws the defense down. Jordan late getting back. You see him on the far side. He didn't get back into defense. Hornacek makes him pay. But Jordan will not settle for a jumper this time. He will go to the rim, because if he doesn't make the shot, he will get a foul call.
Hornacek has 20 points, 7 of 10 shooting, 2 of 2 from three-point range.
I know, Ian, there's 1:46 left here, but this is the biggest possession the Jazz have, I should say the Bulls have had in a long, long time.
You see the foul situation. Hornacek, Malone, and Rodman all playing with 5. Jazz lead by 1. Bulls with the ball, 1:46 left in the fourth.
Jazz staying back on their side of half court, not coming up with full court pressure.
Kerr gets it across. This crowd is deafening. Jordan a post up. Russell looking for the steal. Jordan the step in. Kick out. Kukoc a three. No good. Rodman offensive rebound, and he gets it to the outside, and Kerr. A new shot clock for Chicago. Pippen using the body on Hornacek. Pippen off the double team. Now single coverage. Pippen, jump shot. Rimming out. Malone the rebound. Stockton up the floor. The Jazz lead by 1, just over a minute left. Stockton once again guarded by Kerr. Stockton turns the corner. Pippen over to help. And the giveaway. Tony Kukoc was right there to intercept the Stockton feed. Kerr a pull-up, a three. Short. Kerr following his own shot. Wraparound feed. Jordan the banker. Michael Jordan gets it in a foul. Oh, what a pivotal play here in the fourth quarter.
And produced by Steve Kerr. He put the three up. Here it is, but watch him follow it. He comes right back in and gets it, and has enough to get it back to Jordan, who's open. There's a touch foul there, and he makes the layup.
So Chicago with a 1-point lead. Jordan at the free throw line. 47.9 seconds left. Jordan looks and hits. Bulls lead by 2.
Well, the top 50 players of all time, Stockton and Malone, will try to get a hoop for their team.
Stockton out to Russell. Stockton fakes on a three. Stockton with the shot clock winding down. His team trailing by 2. Gets it off. Malone. Jump shot. He's short. Fight for the rebound, and Rodman has it. He takes a timeout. 23.4 seconds left. Chicago with a 2-point lead, and they will have the ball following this break in the action. The Utah Jazz had Karl Malone shooting a jump shot for the tie, but Malone once again not having the kind of night that he's accustomed to from the field. 5 of 16 shooting, and Utah in jeopardy of having this series tied up at 1 apiece.
There it is, where Malone gets the shot. And he's been missing so far in this series, and it goes short. And the Bulls come up with the rebound. Rodman gets it right there and calls timeout. And that'll settle things down here. But I thought a big mistake to Utah there, Ian, in the fact that they got the ball at around 44, 45 seconds after Jordan made the free throw. They should have went quicker into their offense. They didn't want to put a shot up where it's 23.4 left, below 24 seconds, where the Bulls can just run out the clock. Now they will force the Utah Jazz to foul the Chicago Bulls here. And then if they go up 4, it looks good for Chicago. Rodman called the timeout to get out of the game. He's not a good free throw shooter, so he calls the timeout to get out of the game, to get a better free throw shooter in. That's a smart play by Dennis Rodman.
The Bulls lead by 2. Let's check in back in the studio. Webbo and John.
Yeah, Ian, I must ask, Larry Johnson mentioned it last year. It's what he called the only player that Chicago have got, the number 23 player refers to it as. Where do we assume the ball might be going now?
I'll tell you what, Webbo, I'm not quite sure they're even going to be able to get into their offense. Utah just does not have that much time to work with, and they may have to take their chances putting Chicago at the free throw line with 23.4 seconds left. This is a tactical decision by Jerry Sloan that he's going to have to make.
I agree, Ian. I think they're definitely going to have to go with fouling someone and hoping that they miss a foul shot. Given that they have a chance to go for the win, though, with Malone and Stockton really not showing up, do you think they're still going to go to their 2 main guys?
Well, I think they're going to take whatever the Bulls give them. Mike, I defer to you on that.
They have to go to their 2 main guys. That's who gets you there. They're big players. What they have to do, what Utah has to do is extend the game a little bit. See, if there was 27, 28 seconds, they wouldn't have to foul. They can play the good defense, try to get a miss, and then get the rebound, call timeout to tie. Under 24 seconds, they will be forced to foul here. They might go for a steal early. They don't get it, they foul, extend the game. Similar to what the Bulls did in game 1, Ian.
Took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what Chicago had to do in overtime. And hey, they did have a 3-point attempt at the buzzer with a chance to tie.
See,
instead, the tables have turned.
Yeah, Bill Wennington in for Rodman. A good free throw shooter, Bill Wennington.
They get it into Jordan. Kukoc over to Kerr, who's also a good free throw shooter. And there's the foul called on Morris. Jazz are over the limit, so Steve Kerr is going to the free throw line with 19 and a half seconds left, and still enough time for Utah to get back into this game. Let's take a look at some of the percentages. Kerr, 78% in the playoff, but only 50% in the 4th quarter.
That doesn't sound like the Steve Kerr I know. He is an excellent free throw shooter. Look for him to make 2 here. Sloan will call timeout.
On the season, 92%. He can make it a 2-possession game if he hits both. Kerr first is good. So a 3-point lead for the Bulls. If Kerr hits another, Utah will be forced to score on 2 possessions to get a victory. This is a very important toss for Kerr coming up.
See, now Rodman back in the game. Kukoc and Wennington go out. Harper and Rodman in, for defensive purposes. But Sloan will call a timeout here. Make or miss, there will be a timeout, Utah.
The Bulls have hit their free throws, and that trend continues. Steve Kerr knocking down a pair, and the Bulls lead 90-86. Timeout, Utah. And that's exactly what the Jazz didn't want. They were hoping in that situation that the Bulls would at least miss 1 out of 2, and then maybe Utah could have gone in for a quick 2 and maybe taken their chances fouling the Bulls again and hoping that they can at least have a chance to tie and send this game into overtime with a 3-pointer late.
Well, what they'll have to do here, Ian, after Kerr makes the 2 to make it a 4-point game, what I think Utah has 2 opportunities here. Number 1, get the ball quick into Malone, let him go to the rim, try to get a 3-point play with that body. He has the strength to make a layup or a shot while getting fouled and maybe make the free throw to make it a 1-point game again. Or they could come back with Stockton, who dribbles in, maybe get the defense to get to him, then dish it out to like a Brian Russell or an Anderson to hit a 3. Or a Hornacek in that case to hit a 3.
Hornacek has hit 2 of them. Russell has hit 3. What's working against Utah? Well, a couple of things. Chicago has played tremendous defense, especially in the 4th. But You must say this, the Jazz have not executed their offense the way that we know they can.
Well, I think there's a reason why they have not executed their offense. The Bull defense has been tremendous. They've figured out the screen and roll. What they're doing on the screen and roll, you normally have 4 players on one side. You have Stockton, Malone, and 2 defenders. What the Bulls are doing on that is they're bringing Pippen over early. In case Stockton makes the turn around the corner on the baseline side, Pippen's there to help out. Izzy was getting there quicker than Stockton when he was getting those shots earlier in that third quarter. This time Pippen's closing down John Stockton. And I give Phil Jackson and his coaching staff a lot of credit. They've really figured it out.
Every time you count the Bulls out, they're too old. Their time has passed. Jordan can't carry a team on his shoulders like he used to. Well, look at the scoreboard. The Chicago Bulls are still the 2-time defending champions. 5 titles in the last 7 years. And they are not going to give this thing away that easily. Utah's going to have to go out there and take it from the Bulls. And right now, the Jazz are not doing that. It's 90-86. Bulls in front with 19.5 seconds left. Utah with the ball. They'll get it at half court, trailing by 4. There is still enough time for the Jazz to get back in this game, but they have to get a bucket quickly. Russell. Guarded by Kukoc off the inbounds and a turnover. Ron Harper came away with the basketball, and the Bulls are going to win this game. Michael Jordan is fouled with 14.5 left on the clock. A terrible turnover in the waning moments of the fourth quarter, and the Chicago Bulls are on the verge of tying this series up.
The execution on the inbounds just not there. Harper goes over the back, a little bit of Stockton, and gets the steal. Gets it right to Jordan, who got fouled, and Harper, I should say Jordan, now to shoot 2. That's why Harper's in the game, Ian. There was a lot of talk about why wasn't Harper guarding John Stockton late in game 1. Well, he's back here late in game 2, makes a crucial steal to really end this game for Chicago's favor.
Michael Jordan tacking on another 35 for Jordan. Jordan will wait for the ball. Phil Jackson will wait for the victory. Jordan, one more coming. Missing on the free throw. And the Jazz take a timeout. Too little, too late for Utah, though. They trail by 5 with 14.2. The last thing they needed in that scenario was a turnover off the inbounds.
Oh, what they needed, Ian, was production. They didn't get it.
No, they haven't gotten it basically in the entire fourth quarter, Mike.
Right, exactly. They took a lead of 73-70 into this quarter. And really, I give the Bulls, instead of giving Malone and Utah, you know, saying they didn't play well, I just think the Chicago Bulls came in here and showed the heart of a champion, where they would not go down 0-2. They, right from the start, they were in for business. And I happen to think before the game that I thought Utah would control this thing. And I take it back, and the Bulls have get all my credit for playing a full 48-minute game, well, with 14 seconds left. And anything can happen, but I see Chicago winning this game.
Well, we tend to forget who we're talking about. These Bulls have done some amazing things. They are the team of the 90s. They are a legitimate dynasty in a time where you just don't see many dynasties in professional sports anymore. And that man, Michael Jordan, time and time again, he gets it done.
He had help tonight, though. And Jordan made 2 bad plays in that fourth quarter that his teammates bailed him out on, but he still has 35 points. I thought he had 36. But nonetheless, Hornacek came up big for Utah, but really the big 3, as John was talking about back in the studio, Karl Malone and John Stockton really didn't play their usual games tonight.
Only 14.2 seconds left. And the Utah Jazz is moments away from losing home court advantage. They worked so hard in the regular season to gain home court advantage, finishing with a 62-20 record, the same record as the Bulls, but they swept Chicago, and that's why they had home court advantage in this series, beating the Bulls twice in the regular season. A lot of points to make up in very little time.
It's interesting, Harper's not out there now.
Hornacek guarded by Jordan. Hornacek a 3. Off the rim, no. Kukoc to the rebound. Forced out of bounds. And a push call. So a foul has been assessed with 8.1 remaining.
Hornacek, his sixth iron, he's out.
The Utah Jazz, after a thrilling overtime victory in Game 1, will now head to Chicago, all tied up with the two-time defending champions. 3 straight games at the United Center. I don't think either one of us thought that the Bulls could win 4 straight. I still don't believe they can. But I think they convinced some people that they're not through in 1998 after pulling out a victory here tonight against the Jazz at the Delta Center. Kukoc missing on both and leaving the door open just a bit.
Just goes to show you, Ian, if Hornacek had hit that 3, it's a 2-point game. Jazz would have 7.8 seconds to tie it, but it didn't go in, and Chicago not helping themselves by missing their last 3 free throws.
So a timeout. 91 to 86, 7.8 seconds to play.
Well, Utah again will get this ball in and try to get a 3 up. Hornacek is fouled out, so look for a guy like Stockton or Anderson. Brian Russell will put it up from long range, but really with 7.8 left, this does not look good for Utah. And Chicago, they would have taken 2, but after losing Game 1, to get Game 2 is good for them, Ian.
You know the amazing part, though, Mike, following Game 1, you still sense the Bulls were confident.
Yeah.
They took it in stride. They said, hey, you know, we came here. We expect to win a game. We'll go out, win Game 2, head back to Chicago. They said all the right things. And look what the result has been. Bulls 91, Jazz 86, only 7.8 seconds left. Utah in a deep hole. And Chicago just going about its business like they've done all through the 90s.
And the reason why they say all the right things is their leader says most of them. And that's Jordan, who's been through it. Finals, All-Star games, MVPs. He's been there. What's ever happened in this league, he's been through. So he knows what to do. And he certainly has led his team to victory tonight.
Well, coming up, Game 3 at Chicago 2 nights from now. And then Games 4 and 5 at the United Center. 6 and 7 will be here at the Delta Center if necessary, and you're beginning to get the sense that those games will be necessary.
Well, the asterisk is off. That red asterisk was off Game 5, so there'll be at least 3 more. And they will be all played in Chicago at the United Center.
Russell will toss it in. Russell looking for an open man. He couldn't find one earlier. Gets it to Malone. Off to Russell. 3-pointer. No good. The follow by Morris for 2. But only 3.7 seconds left. And the Jazz are down by 3. Chicago takes a timeout. Dennis Rodman did not want to make a costly mistake throwing the ball inbounds. And once again, as Mike mentioned earlier, Rodman not a good free throw shooter, so Chicago does not want to give Utah the option of fouling Rodman and sending him to the line. A 20-second timeout called by the Bulls.
And Rodman taking the ball out, couldn't get it in, and another smart play by Rodman, who knows this game real well. He's very heads up when it comes to the art of basketball. Calls the 20-second timeout because he doesn't want to throw it in where there's a steal, and Utah goes out and hits a 3, and this ball game is all tied up.
3.7 seconds left. Bulls will have to trigger it in. Harper looks, gets it to Jordan, dribbling away from one defender, and then Stockton fouls him with just 1.7 remaining on the clock. If Jordan hits just 1 free throw, put this one in the books.
See, 1 free throw would make it a 4-point game, and that would be insurmountable to come back on as Jordan runs away from Russell, gets fouled by Stockton.
Utah.
And all Utah has left, Ian, is a 20-second timeout. So they couldn't get the ball at half court, even if Jordan missed 2.
The Jazz now just banking on a prayer that Jordan would miss a couple, and it's not going to happen. Jordan hitting the first. And the Bulls have a 4-point advantage. 1.7 seconds left. Jordan with another free throw. 37 points for Jordan. Utah gets it in. Stockton from half court at the buzzer. It's short. And after dropping the opener, the Bulls answer right back. Chicago rises to the occasion, taking game 2, 93-88, the final. That'll do it from the Delta Center. Hope you can join us for game 3 from the United Center. The 1998 NBA Finals all tied up. For Michael Koren, this is Ian Eagle saying so long from Salt Lake City. Let's head back to our studios. Mark and John. Mark?
Cheers, Ian. Cheers, Mike. Enjoy your trip up to Chicago for that game on Sunday evening. And John Amici, I think what we saw there was your old school Bulls, wasn't it?
Absolutely. The Bulls, we've been saying they're vulnerable, but they didn't look too vulnerable down the stretch there. Michael Jordan and a lot of the other of his cast, Steve Kerr hitting 2 big free throws. They came up with big plays at the end where Utah just didn't have answers.
Suddenly there was a bit of anger in them, and we saw that in a couple of offensive plays there where shots got missed, but they also get the ball back, and that was crucial in this last quarter, wasn't it?
Yeah, these type of situations are backbreakers. These tip-outs, the second shots. Every time there's a second shot, people have shown in basketball that the chances of making the next shot off that rebound, they're statistically a lot higher. So it's a real burden on a team if they can't finish the defensive play and get that rebound.
It does involve a lot more concentration, a lot more energy, which is a word we've been using a lot this evening, to actually make yourself get in there and win that second ball, doesn't it?
Yeah, it shows a lot, actually, for the offensive team, which is getting the second shot, shows their intensity. It also shows, I think, a lack of focus and certainly a lack of energy on the defensive team when they know how important each possession is to give away an extra possession like that.
I think I say old school Bulls, and once again I say it because, Utah had that run, big run, home court advantage. It could many teams will go under that pressure. There's 10 points taken, against nothing, and yet they still chased them down.
Yeah, you don't expect quality sides, though, to disappear.
No.
In the NBA Finals, it's a do-or-die situation. You expect them to keep on fighting.
And we see that Steve Kerr's been doing this all year now. He's big at getting his own rebounds and leaping in off the rim. It's tremendous work from him again.
And this is one play I'm sure Coach Sloan is going to be angry about. You don't expect Steve Kerr, all credit to him as a player, but not the greatest athlete on the floor, certainly. You don't expect him to be coming up with huge rebounds like that at the end of a game.
We saw them in the first game, and it was a close game. 2 teams not playing particularly well. Certainly the Bulls improved this time. Did Utah improve for you?
I think Utah had stretches. They certainly look better than they have looked in the previous game, but still only in spurts. And they still haven't had a consistent game from Stockton and a consistent game from Malone. And without that, they can't compete, especially with Michael Jordan basically being able to score at will at certain
And here's
points.
a classic example, perhaps why John Stockton not really doing his stuff tonight. Ron Harper gets the steal off of him, which is the amazing thing. You might have thought it was a foul, but no.
No, at the end of the game, a referee's not going to want to take a game into his own hands. He's going to let you play physical. And Stockton's used to that. I mean, he's been in these games before. He knows how Ron Harper's going to play him. Really, it's difficult to explain that kind of turnover.
John, thanks very much again. We'll see you again as John Amici. We'll see him again on Sunday night when we are back, of course. 12:20 we're on air. Game 3, that comes from the United Center. Chicago at home, the 3 games. 24/7 is on Sunday lunchtime as well. That is coming from Salt Lake City. Scoop, Dave, chat with Franz Carr. Also, John Stockton's in there as well. It's 1-1. We'll see you Sunday night for Game 3.
Get closer to the World Cup than you ever thought possible. Experience the World Cup firsthand with the Big Breakfast. Win 1 pair of tickets for the opening match, Scotland-Brazil, 2 for Scotland-Morocco, 5 for England-Colombia, and 2 pairs to the semi-finals. We won't just show you the World Cup, we'll take you there. The Big Breakfast, weekdays from 7.
Wes Craven presents. He will offer you immortality, tempt you with your every desire, and will turn your wildest dreams into your worst nightmares. what you wish for.
She sells seashells, new shades by CoverGirl, pink shells, sand castles, silver plums, and everything is sun-kissed. A fresh idea, a fresh face to the world. Easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
Chat and date. Call friends and swap telephone numbers 0894 79 79 79.
Tonight's live coverage of the NBA Finals finished earlier than expected, so here's an extra programme to keep you entertained.